I'm ready. What up? Let's get to it. So great news for the Alabama football team. None of their players entered the transfer portal as far as spring goes. So after spring camp, Alabama has all its players. No one on the roster entered the portal, dog. That's very shocking. Very shocking. I'm gonna get into the article in a minute, but that's very shocking because I believe Alabama was the only team in the SEC who didn't lose any players to the NIL, to the transfer portal. That's saying a lot, bro. It's not easy, especially at this day and age of college football, to keep players around when it's pay for play now, correct? So the fact that Bama players stood tall, was locked in, shows you the bond, the brotherhood that they are forming, the relationships they are building. We knew it wouldn't happen overnight, but we all know majority. Kalendeboer, that season was a failure last year for Bama, inexcusable. But this is the progress here. Fourth quarter, spring program, second year in. This is really his team now, bro. He took his bumps, took his bruises, took his punches to the chin. Kalendeboer, you can't deny, he kept getting up, stepped up his game in recruiting, hitting the South for real, expanding his let's say relationships, dog. You know what I'm saying? His connections, learning about SEC football, understanding what realm this really is. This is the best in the land, the best in the land. I don't care what nobody talking about. They're gonna respect the SEC. You hear me? Respect to the Big Ten, respect to every conference, but we know. Oh, just because the SEC had some down years or Bama had a down year, everybody want to talk about SEC not this, SEC not that. Stop the cap, bro. Stop the cap. No, the Big Ten is right there. No disrespect, right there. Could be a tie, but let's not ever forget where the best talent comes from. That's the SEC conference. That's why scouts attack there heavy, heavy. Just being real here. There's talent all over the world, all over the U.S. But when it comes down to it, college football, the best of the best, SEC, and it's been SEC for a while, period. No denying it. You hear me? But at the end of the day, this showing a real brotherhood between these players and coaches. It's showing belief, trust, confidence. Players having a coaching staff and coaches having their players, et cetera, et cetera. It shows you the effect of ryangrubb coming back, getting into the mix, being an offensive coordinator, how players are excited to play for him. We saw what Nick Sheridan bum ass did. Yeah, everybody left Kendrick Law, every receiver on the damn squad damn near. But this shows you right here exactly what I'm talking about, dog. Batman is locked in. They are locked in. New regime officially begun, bro. The revenge tour has begun already. It ain't even just started. It's been a revenge tour, homie. Heavy, bro. Period. All they gotta do is stay zoned in, stay locked in. Tells you right there about the program, the direction is headed. It's bigger than just talent, bigger than just money. It's still about morals, principles, integrity, belief, heart, energy, chemistry. You dig me? Yeah. Let teams pay for play. Let teams pay for play. And yeah, Bama gonna have to get into the mix, bend a little bit when it comes to payments, period. Greg Byrne asking the fans for money. No, y'all pay the Guapino. Pay the damn Guapino, dog. You hear me? You got it. You got it, bruh. Pay the Guapino, period. Huh? Stop being stingy. Stop being greedy. You still gonna eat. Y'all still gonna eat. Yeah, bruh. Let's get into this article, man. That's great news for me, though, man. No players left. Everybody stayed pat. You got to respect that. Got to respect DeBoer for that as well. DeBoer is doing something different this off season. They obviously trust in DeBoer, believe in DeBoer. He may have finally got his players prepared and trusting and believing in him. At least mature enough to do it. I went from share to stop sharing. What I got to go? What's going on around yonder, man? Give me a second. Give me a second, man. Shout out to the boy, though. Got to shout out the boy. But I guarantee you a lot of it has to do with the influence of ryangrubb. No denying ryangrubb's impact right now with this Alabama squad. I guarantee that's why a lot of players didn't leave. Well, no player left. No player left. We even saw rumors, some speculations, probably was fake news for a view, for the cloud, et cetera, right? For the Guapino. But some people saying Ryan Williams was going to exit the building. I find that hard to believe. Out of nowhere, out the blue. Like I say, false stories to paint false narratives, try to cause some division. But this here, clear, evident, these boys tight. United, dog, as one. You hear me? A true brotherhood. That's a great sign going into the season. Every other team, like I say, every other team lost a player or two, multiple players to the portal, especially in the SEC. Bama the only one that stand tall, baby. Let's rock and roll, man. Roll tide, full of pride, huh? Heavy, man. They talking about round yonder, talking about it's over. Bama out of there. What? Out of there? How? What you mean out of there? Let's go, man. What it signified that Alabama football lost no players to the transfer portal this spring. The Alabama football roster visited the doctor in April for its biannual physical, and the results are in. The Crimson Tide couldn't be much healthier after evaluating blood pressure, heart rate, and going through the infamous spring transfer portal window test. Alabama's roster passed the checkup with flying colors. Great news once again. Great news, dog. Even from a health standpoint. You got to love it. I'm here for it. Want some more of it. You hear me? Roll time, and let's go, baby. Not a single scholarship player entered the transfer portal in the 10-day period. Not one. Wow, very surprising. No other school in the SEC can say that. Ole Miss led the conference with 9 scholarship player portal enters in the spring. Shows you in which direction Ole Miss is going, baby. The trajectory they're on, correct? Losing players to the portal has become commonplace in today's college football. Maybe a program doesn't lose starters each window, but it's difficult to hold on to depth each portal window. Big facts. Other programs might be willing to pay another team's depth players more money than they would get as a backup at their current school. Pay for play, correct? Pay for play, dog. Only that can go so far, though. Only that will and can go so far. I don't believe that. So they enter the portal, or players seeking more playing time might enter the portal. Yet, none for Alabama did in this cycle. The deadline to submit the paperwork to enter the transfer portal arrived Friday, and a source with knowledge of transfer portal movement told AL.com none had submitted the paperwork. Let's go, man. That's rare these days. So what does it mean? Here are a few takeaways. It means kalendeboer, like I said previously before reading the article, is in his bag right now. Let's get it. Got to keep it going. Long season ahead. What it says about kalendeboer. If there were any kind of prevalent disbelief on the roster in DeBoer's ability to lead the Crimson Tide, at least one player would have gone elsewhere in the spring window. At least probably more. Facts, bro. Big facts. Somebody would have left. For no players to leave is outstanding. You know, if it would have been 1 or 2, that's even good. But no players, zero, dog. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing around yonder. Roll tide, full of pride, will lose a draw. Instead, none did. That's DeBoer and company's investment and relationships paying off. It's players buying what he's selling. It's one thing for players to say nice things about DeBoer during interviews, but their actions speak much louder than words. Listen to this roster's action of staying put. Let's go, man. What it says about NIL, athlete compensation. Alabama would not be retaining all of his talent, whether it be the starting quarterback or a third-string offensive tackle, if it was struggling to compensate athletes. Facts, bro. They got to pay up. You got to pay up something. Good roster retention just doesn't happen these days if you have bad NIL infrastructure. Well, that could go either way. You know, some players will take less money. You know, some players still playing fair ball, even at that young age when they really don't know what's going on, really getting set up for a trap. You hear me, dog? Trying to break them early, make them crash out early, in my opinion. Makes no sense to pay a player a multitude of millions for what? For him to blow it or not understand it or crash out with it. I mean, damn, what they paying for? Where's the competition? Where's the competitive spirit at? If they getting paid all these millions right now. Like I always say, I'm not saying they shouldn't get paid, but damn, give them something to play for. Yeah, something to play for. Can you do that, bro? That's the problem with the whole NIL deal bullshit. And I stand on that 10 toes down. You hear me? Believe that. Big school here. That's not to say Alabama's rolling in all this extra cash and paying all of these players more than any other school, but this much roster retention would indicate Alabama's ability to compensate athletes sits in a healthy spot, whether it be through future revenue sharing, expected to be made possible this fall through the House settlement, or through facilitating NIL needs. Either way, either way, see, they're trying to make it, they're trying to put the focus on it being, oh, Bama can finally play players. Bama has all this money. No, you know what I'm saying? Texas been playing players all year. Ohio State, those are the schools with the most, majority, colossal amount of money. Yeah, Bama has funds. Don't get me wrong. Bama has funds. Much millions and damn near billions they have made off of athletes. They better not be running around yonder. They're broke. You know what I'm saying? They can't pay for play dog. Heavy, huh? Think about Greg Burns and Bama. Them they trying to keep some money in their pocket as well, though. They trying to keep some money in their pocket, homie. You know what I'm saying? That's at the end of the day. That's why you got Greg Burns asking fans for donations type shit. Better get on out of here. Go check out that video I did a while ago, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Make sure you hit that bell, huh? Believe that, man. Better pay up, man. But like I said, players still have integrity, character, stand for something, can't just be bought out. Won't just sell they soul for some millions, homie. Some players still go with their intuition, their heart, their gut feeling, right? Their dream, childhood dream since adolescence. That's the most important thing around yonder. You hear me, dog? And we've seen that perfect examples of Alabama players leaving, not being successful, getting into trouble at their new school. You know what I'm saying? Or not being what they expected. Heavy, bro. Seen it even recently, and I'm talking last year. So don't get caught up in the hype, man. Yeah. Make solid compensation with relationship building and development, and players more inclined to stick around. So they did. What it says about 2025 outlook. Natty runners, natty winners, national championship finalists, winners, champions. Let's go. The revenge tour starts now. Let's get it, baby. The spring provided a chance for each player on this roster to see what the Crimson Tide could be this season. Players would probably be less likely to stay if the outlook was bleak. Believe you me, it's not. Particularly reserves. If a player who is set to be a backup didn't think they could be part of a notable season, transferring could become more appealing. Maybe some would see a benefit to staying for development purposes, but for others, transferring could open the door to making more money and or getting more playing time. Yet none did from the spring roster, specifically the backups. That bodes well for Alabama's outlook in 2025. What does that mean? Great depth, a great amount of depth, baby, at every position, at every level. Because as we know, the Bama roster is stacked. The Bama roster is stacked. The big question is, will the coaches have them prepared every week and utilize them correctly, baby? We know the 411. We know the scoop, man. Final thoughts. Don't hand Alabama the national championship crown solely because it retained its scholarship roster from the spring. No, they got to work for it. They got to earn it. No shit, Sherlock, duh. But it's a good early piece to the puzzle. It's worth highlighting, considering the rarity of it these days. The Crimson Tide will surely have its depth tested throughout the season, especially if Alabama reaches the college football playoff and makes a deep run. So, hanging on to all of the depth it did is a good thing on face value. Period, homie. How it's of greater significance, the Boers way seems to be registering with the players in Tuscaloosa. We'll find out this fall how that translates to the field. Exactly, baby. It can look as good as it wants to in the spring. Fall comes around, and then boys, they prepared, ready to play. Guess what? What is it all for? What does it all matter? It's just chatter. You hear me, dog? But the fact that players are locked in, bought in, finally to kalendeboer, what fans were concerned about, does DeBoer have control of his team? Can he lead this team? Does he understand whose shoes he is filling? What it takes to be a leader of these guys in SEC? Does he even understand SEC football, the level of competition, how it's so different, dog? Period, man. Period. But I think it's finally starting to come to him. He's finally starting to understand and get it, homie. And I think Bama is finally going in the right direction. They talking about no natty. Why not, homie? Why not Bama, huh? Believe that, bro. Hey, fire them comments up. Let me know how you feel about the video. How do you feel about Bama not losing any players? Do we salute them? Gotta respect them, right? Gotta respect them round yonder. They easily could have went to the Guapino field for the Guapino trick. They could have went somewhere else. They could have been scared to compete, like they say. Even the backup stood tall, didn't fold, huh? That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about, dog. At the end of the day, man sharpen man, iron sharpen iron, and everybody eat. Everybody eat, man. All y'all. And I ain't just talking football either. This real life, huh? But guess what? The vast majority don't understand it and never will. Hey man, big skull here. Roll tide full of pride. Win, lose, or draw forever. Roll tide. Believe it.